What's up, everybody? Welcome to another week. This is a good one. Really excited about this one. I actually listened to the whole thing back the other day, which I never do. And even I was like, man, this is a really good conversation with Jeramie Eginoire, who is a Des Moines Fire Captain. And also the guy that brought the Folds of Honor Iowa chapter to Iowa. And it's a great story about how he got involved, how he was called to serve, how he felt like he had an idea, and remember how we talked about ideas were stupid, but he was like, I'm in, let's figure it out, and brought the chapter to Iowa. We go back to his early days. He's a Des Moines Fire legacy, how he didn't get hired the first time, how he went to college, but still felt called to do something, much like all of us do. We start somewhere, and then we feel called or pulled to do something different. Jeramie's no exception. Then got into the fire service around 9/11 because of 9/11, and then felt the call to do more and got involved with the Folds of Honor. So he's a 24, 48 guy. He's 20-year marriage to a school teacher. She must be a saint. 3 girls, all very athletic and involved. He is very involved. He's got a YouTube channel which documents his travels across the world. He's got an Instagram channel. He's a triathlete. Like, this guy's the real deal. I met him at the Ruck of Remembrance, which, by the way, was his idea and his inception, and got it rolling, got it going. Just a great vibe. Like, he's got a good vibe. He's kind of the guy. He's the kind of guy you just want to hang out with. So he took an hour out of his day after his 24 to visit. A super good conversation. We're gonna have more. And the Folds of Honor Iowa chapter is working on a lot of other projects right now. And we're obviously going to talk about those on the show and promote those on the show and recap those things on the show. And there's some exciting stuff coming down the pipe from that organization. On that note, we were talking about being called to serve. And this week, I've noticed some things that I don't think are coincidences. I don't think they're accidents, and I think they lead up to the show. One being, this morning I was watching church, and Pastor Jeramie, a friend of the show, did a great sermon on what are you called to do, and are you living your passion, and are you in your profession, are you in your vocation, are you doing the things, are you doing what God called you to do, and if you're not, why, and if you're not, how can you be? Really kind of hit home, because in the last week, so for those of you that don't know, and this is why I have this ridiculous mustache, no offense to those with mustaches, is I picked up a part-time job at a local fire department, and I'm super excited about it. I'm jacked up about the things I'm going to learn from them. I'm jacked up about the new physical challenges of working with them. I'm super excited about the high standards they hold, and they're going to hold me accountable to those standards. I'm just excited to be back in the grind, basically. I won't always say that. I'm sure I'll commiserate a little bit about how tired I am and how beat I am, but at the same time, like, I've met some really good dudes, and there's a whole department there that I have not met yet, that have great stories, and I'm anxious to hear them all, and I can't wait to see what kind of influence they'll have on me, and what kind of and how they'll inspire me to do other things. But in the last week, I've met 2 people. One used to be a assurance adjuster, now a first responder. Why? Called to do it. A former teacher, now first responder. Why? Called to do it. I don't know the guy, but through acquaintances, I got a fella's name who has a family plumbing business, now a first responder. Why? Called to do it. Jeramie's no exception. He was called to do it. Like, I think we're all obviously called to do it, but it's always interesting to me to hear how people go from, and I've met a bunch of 20-year-olds that are like, this is their first profession, and why? Called to do it. And it's pretty good stuff. listening to a podcast right now with Mike Rowe, the Way I Heard It podcast. Johnny Joey Jones just wrote a book. It's called Behind the Badge. I don't know enough about this book to talk intelligently, but it sounds like he chronicles 9 first responders that he knows and their careers and what basically broke them in first response, like how they got, maybe in and out of the profession. If they're still in the profession, I'm actually, it's in my Amazon cart. I'm going to buy the book. I can't wait to read it. It sounds good. Veterans Day, we just got past Veterans Day. The Chad workout on CrossFit is a big thing. 1,000 step-ups for time, weighted. If you've never done it before, do it. Do it and try to do it without music. Like, just try to do it with just your own thoughts and just see where your brain goes during that. For no other reason than to really focus on and think about first responders, military people, and what we don't know about them, the silent struggle, the things that we don't ever talk about, the questions we've always wanted to ask but don't, and just really kind of get into your own, sit in your own bathwater type of thing, which I've said a lot. And I know that I talk all the time about it. It's one thing I hate, but it's necessary. Like, you have to sit and reflect, and you have to bring those thoughts up in order to face them, figure them out, deal with them. And if you don't have a solution, at least they're up there and you're working on them. If that makes sense. That's all I got for now, I think. Great episode. Why the video, by the way? The video is a YouTube thing. Like, it is what it is. Trying to up my game. Here we are. So this is why the video. So anyway, Jeramie Eginoire. Great conversation. Can't wait to do more. The guy is legit. He's got some great philosophies. Got some great phrases. So hopefully you pick up on them. That's all I got for today, this week. Other shows coming? I don't really know. We're getting close to the holidays. I've got some people that I've reached out to. Not sure how it's going to shake out with my new schedule, but I'm working on it. Work hard. Be kind. Bye. And what do you think just happened?
I don't know. All of a sudden, it just said troubleshoot. A big screen said troubleshoot on it.
Man, it's always something.
I know technology's great,
but if I was smart, I'd probably know better. It's probably a simple thing. I'm just not. I don't know if you're like me, but I just try stuff, and if it works, I did it, and if it doesn't,
you move on to something else.
And then if it does work, I can't tell you how I did it.
It's all right.
No idea.
It's part of the magic, part of the allure.
Could you imagine how much more efficient I would be, and most of us would be, if we just really knew what we were doing?
Yeah, that's basically my life, is one whole life of trial and error, I guess. So,
we're gonna talk a lot about that, because the more I dig in on you, not that I'm a creeper or anything like that, but you seem to be a very curious dude. Like, you just seemed it, right? Like, you seem like you're trying a bunch of stuff, and then you want people to find out what you're finding out.
Absolutely, kind of like you.
Yeah, I think. Well, thanks.
Yeah, I've listened to your 62 hours worth now of in the past couple of weeks. I've listened to all of them. I need to catch up now. I'm caught up. Super fan, man. Thanks. I need to get some t-shirts made. I've actually been kind of like goofing off on the internet and just get like these. Like, these are really a nice fitting, nice material shirt, and just say something cool on it. So let's start with your 20-year vet, Des Moines Fire Department. Yep, almost. We were just talking a second ago before we had the technical issue that you've been in the 24-hour game for 20 years. And I asked you, I said, do you sleep? Do you shut it off? No, not really. And I'm a captain now at Station 1, so it's one of those things where if the phone rings, it's my job. If anything happens, if someone goes on sick leave, it's my job. So it's no. To answer your question, it's not usually a good night's sleep, but some are better than others. Sure, but I've always been like, I'm the same way. Like, I can't shut it off. It doesn't matter how tired I am.
I just wait for impending something to happen, right? And that's just the way it is. But it follows me at home a little bit too. Like, do you feel that? Do you get overstimulated sometimes with alerts on your phone, or I'm always tuned in, I'm always plugged up, I can't ever just kind of let it go, and then all of a sudden, bam, I'm in some sort of fray?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think I think I probably have had ADHD my entire life. Just not diagnosed, but it's one of those things where your mind is always racing. It's always onto something.
Yeah.
You go from one thought to another thought, and that could be when you have zero sleep and you're laying in bed at home trying to go to bed, and wheels are still turning.
Yeah.
But you also got to try to learn how to harness that too, and then turn all that into something positive. So
I sleep real good at home, but at the station or at work, man, it's just, even if I know we could be out of service for weather or something, like, and I could just have some downtime and I could just really tune out, and I just still can't. It's always going home. I at night at 9 o'clock at night, man, I can shut it down.
Yeah.
And but I'm usually back up at it again real early, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then the wheels are, even before we got on, like, one of my toxic things that I brought from this profession is I'm always I'm not in a rush, but I try to do things quickly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like to be hurried. I'm not rushing per se, but I like to be efficient and get things done very quickly, because I know that interruption is coming. I don't know when.
Yeah.
And so let's just get this job done before, and then I'll take it to the 10th hour and be like, okay, now I can finally sit down for a second.
I feel you, brother. Yeah. Same way.
But after 20 years of doing 24s, man, I only lasted in the 24s for about 12 years. Not saying I wouldn't get back in it someday, but I didn't look near as good as you after coming off a shift, man. I just we just kind of go after it, don't you?
I try. It's one of those things where you either learn how to do it or you miss out on a whole lot. So it's you either get up and you go coach softball, or you don't. You either get up and you hang out with your family, or you don't. So it's there are some times we got to come home and just give me a few hours. let me lay down for a few hours.
Yeah, there's definitely that. I wish I always wondered if I looked as bad as I felt. Like, if the world could see just how awful I feel right now.
Yeah.
Not this moment, but after a rough night.
Yeah, and maybe by your body language, sometimes they do.
When you decided to coach softball, which is always interesting to me, because I kind of always shied away from that kind of stuff, and I was always like the helper coach. Like, I'll help you out, man, if you need an extra set of hands or whatever, but I would never be like the head coach. Yeah. For two reasons. One, I wanted my kids to learn how to listen to other adults.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, other people have better ideas than dad. And I know that, I may think that I'm real smart, but there's other people in the world that are smarter. So listen to them. And then two, I never felt like I was reliable. Like, could you imagine if I would have had to get on a little league team or a travel ball team and be like, listen, we're going to have practice every third day.
Yeah. Because
we got to follow my schedule. And I think parents would just be up in arms. So it sounds like you've been doing it for a while. You've got
2 girls. 11. I have 3 daughters. Yeah. Coached 2 of the older 2 teams. One of them's a sophomore at Iowa now, but the other one's a senior this year, and then a freshman. And I think it's one of those things where you have to have a strong team around you as far as other coaches. It takes a village, so it's there may be a day where, hey, I have to work tomorrow. Tomorrow's the only day that's good weather. Can you guys run this practice? And it's that's all. It's teamwork. Surrounding yourself with great people is the key to almost everything, and that's how that has happened over the years. It's been a great group of people.
Well, good for you. You and I have both been around the travel game long enough to know that you can tell the teams that don't have that support.
Yeah,
really, and they don't have that great. I mean, I'm sure they're well-intentioned people, but the human condition takes over sometimes, man, and you just see the badness in people and stuff like that. So
yeah, you can see the best in people and you can see the worst in people.
To stay in it
on the same weekend.
Exactly correct. To stay in it for 11 years, I see a lot of coaches come and go, and rightfully so. Like adults are sometimes the bigger pain in the ass than the kids sometimes, and that can wear on a guy after a while or a girl after a while. And
Absolutely.
And you compound that with no sleep.
Yeah, there's rougher days than others. I think the biggest thing is I try to stick to my commitments, and I told the group of girls when they were 7 years old, I'm going to coach you until you're done playing softball if you still want me as your coach.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to tell them that at 7 and then say at 15, peace, I'm out,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, sure.
So it was a commitment, and I like to keep to my commitments. So I only got one more year, and then it's maybe helping my younger daughter's team.
Well, one of the biggest rules of just being a dude, I think, is just do what you say you're going to do, right?
Absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely.
And in practice, it sounds simple, but in practice, it's hard. People get inspired, I think, sometimes, and they get to feeling good, and they're like, man, I'm gonna do this, and then that wears off after a week or two, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm not interested.
That's exactly right.
So to keep your commitment is a big deal. When you get home, you've been doing this for 20 years. How do I want to word this? Does everybody kind of look out for dad a little bit, or do you just pretend like you woke up with the family and we're just going to do business as usual?
I think it depends on the day. It depends on the moment. If we have someplace we need to be, it's on me to be in that mode. If it's something where I need a few hours and we have the time, please just leave me alone for a few hours, but otherwise, I think it's on me to not bring that home with me.
Yeah.
Way easier said than done. Way easier.
I've made it no secret that that's where I screwed up. Early in my career, I made it about me. When I came home, I said, hey, I have been up all night.
Yeah.
I have been doing things that would make most people not act right for a few days.
Absolutely.
So now I get to do this. And I think that if there's one message I ever wanted to put to the people that are getting into this job is I was way wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up with a dad as a firefighter. He was a Des Moines firefighter.
Oh, wow.
Retired with a disability. But I remember those nights he would come home, or those mornings he would come home. Some days he would come home and he'd bring us croissant sandwiches from Burger King, and it'd be, hey everybody, good morning. And then other times it was, hey, what's up? And then he would disappear for a little while. And I kind of grew up understanding that, and I'm sure your family now has an understanding of how that life works. But it's not easy. It's not easy. But if it was easy, everybody would do it. So
my wife's brother just got out of the Davenport Fire Department after 23 years.
Okay.
So she lived with that a little bit. I don't know. I've never known my brother-in-law to be anything but exhausted. But I only but I only saw that guy twice a year because they live over in eastern Iowa, obviously, and we live here in Adel. So we would get together holidays and stuff like that. And every time I saw that guy, he just looked awful.
Yeah.
And he's a good-looking dude. I'm not taking anything away from his looks. I'm just saying you can see it.
Yeah.
He just got ran hard all the time, and after 23 years, and now he's out of it. And I just saw him last week. He's been to my house more in the last year than he has in the last 20 years I've known him, right? And he looks like
springless step. And
he's like happy and healthy, and he's like, yeah, man, this is great. He's like, what's up? And all kinds of stuff. And it's amazing what just a little bit of that will do for you. Just not being in that fray for just a little bit, and how much better you feel versus I don't even know sometimes how bad we feel. Right.
Right. Absolutely. That's really key is we don't know how we feel, and it's just normal. And I go on a vacation, pretty blessed to have pretty good, streaks of days off sometimes. And just a week of being on vacation and feel a little bit better, but it's the deal. I still
it
don't.
is the deal. It's what we had to. I'm going to do a whole show coming up and about. I think I'm going to call it like this is what you signed up for. But we're going to talk about all the things they never tell you that you really signed up for, right? I knew I'd be a little tired, and I knew I'd miss some holidays, and I knew I'd miss some weekends, right? But there's a whole lot I had no idea.
Yeah, there's never any recruitment videos on picking somebody covered up in poop up off the bathroom floor at 3 a.m. Those don't make the recruitment videos.
No.
It's
and then to say, well, this is what you signed up for. I was like, man, I don't remember that. I don't see that. I don't see that happening.
I was going to do cool stuff, not but that's, again, like you said, that's what you signed up for. Part of the deal.
Part of the deal after the fact. Once you learn how to kind of get into that lifestyle, I get you. But there's a whole lot that we do, you probably more than me, that we never touched about when we were in school or training or anything like that. And certainly when I go to my kids' career day, I don't touch on the bad stuff. Obviously, we talk about all the good stuff we get to do. Like, look, this is pretty cool, right? We get to be on fire trucks and helicopters, and we get to help people, and man, that's great. Well, there's a bigger picture behind that thing that if you want to sit down with me for an hour or so, I'll visit with you about. Yeah. But we're probably not going to do it here in school.
Yeah, right. And I guess it's like every single job out there. I'm sure there are some bad parts of being a Major League Baseball player. I'm sure there's parts that you got to give and take sacrifice, and we see, a 2-hour-long baseball game where what did it take for that 2-hour baseball game? So every job, every role, and I try to keep that perspective is, would I rather be doing something else on those bad days? No. So it's
because we don't know what else we would have done. Like, I don't necessarily know that. I'm pretty lucky and that I kind of I didn't really fall into it, but I was kind of called to do it.
Yeah.
And it made me realize how much an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday job would just absolutely destroy me.
100%. And I remember one of your podcasts, you talked about 9/11 kind of being one of those moments that you felt that calling. And I enjoyed listening to that. I was similar, I kind of went back with, I was probably 13 and I was visiting my dad. He was at Station 6 over in Hartford, kind of by B&B supermarket. And I was visiting him on my bike because I would go over there, play baseball today, go over there and then go get baseball cards at next door, and there inside the fire station, everybody's laughing and it was loud and everybody's cutting each other, and all of a sudden the tones go off, the structure fire, and they're gone. And it's just their shoes there and the power cord swinging. And I remember that burnt into my head. And I was like, I want to be on that truck. And then I couldn't get hired, when I was old enough to apply. It took a while. So went to college for a backup plan with my girlfriend, now wife. And while I was there, 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm supposed to be a firefighter. I'm supposed to be in the fire service. And that's what kind of redirected me back to the fire service. So I finished my degree and then I got hired in Des Moines shortly after that. But it was 9/11. At 9/11, watching them do what they do, the selflessness, the bravery, the strength. It's a calling, like you said. That's when I knew I wasn't meant for anything else.
Yeah, you and me both, man. What? Where'd you go to college?
Northwest Missouri State.
Yeah, buddy, old Bearcat.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Loved it. Loved Maryville.
I think my son might be looking towards that.
All right.
Direction, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I got nothing against it. One of my best men in my wedding used to coach at Missouri Western.
Yeah, little rivalry.
Yeah. Well, I was down. I spent a lot of time down at St. Joe, and got really in good with the Bearcat rivalry. Man, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
good atmosphere. Good time. Like, there's nothing ever. And you've been married for 20 years?
Yeah, a little over 20 years. Yeah, I think we got married in 2004.
Do you mind me asking what your wife does?
She's a teacher.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
Thank God, right? Because if they were in healthcare, we'd both be.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And we enjoy our summers. I always look forward to summer break, but like you say, it's kind of an adjustment. All of a sudden you go from peace and quiet to something going on all the time, and
I can do whatever I want to. You're gonna be home when?
yeah,
Yeah. No, listen. We usually take a family picture the first day of school, and I'm always in the background with my coffee because it's my favorite day of the year when everybody just goes.
Yep.
But then what you learn when they get in high school is they come home at
Yeah.
random times during the day, and it's like,
Yeah.
what's your problem?
Yeah, my daughter might come walking behind me, but while we're doing
Yeah,
this.
I had to get my son's schedule. I was like, hey, listen, in those days where I work nights,
Mm-hmm.
they're home for 2 hours, and all of a sudden Fortnite's going crazy, and I'm like, I don't understand what we're doing with right now, but
Yeah,
it is.
that's right.
It is what it is, man. It's one of the benefits, and I think one of the absolute gifts that we get to that point.
Oh yeah. Oh,
right?
100%. Yeah. And
as we age,
I could stay home with my daughters when they were kids, and not a lot of people get that opportunity. So that was one of those things that, we're like, daycare it was just so expensive, and
yeah, we didn't either. It was, my days off were spent just like yours.
Yeah.
Man, I'm hurting, and I love nap time because that was nap time for Dad too. And then you could work out, you could put them down in their thing, and you could get a workout in or whatever, and you come back, they're right there again, and then all of a sudden they get crazy. And I was like, I didn't realize at the time, like you did, it hurt. But we were pretty lucky.
Absolutely. I remember sitting in the recliner, probably watching Dragon Tales or Little Mermaid on repeat while I'm sleeping and they're sitting next to me in the recliner, but even just that, just being there, I think paid dividends for our relationships now.
Yeah, I think so too. And there were don't get me wrong, I did some things wrong. There were some rough days where it was like, man, I am overwhelmed right now, and I do not know how to do this.
Yes, for sure.
And I'm probably gonna say or do something stupid, and I'm super sorry. Dad's super sorry. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. That's
what do you do for hobbies? How do you keep a level head? How do you keep
traveling? Traveling is my number one hobby, besides all the commitments and priorities, but
sure.
I work part-time at Delta at the airport.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we fly for free. So we try to get out of town, and I don't care if we go on a road trip in Iowa or if we fly to Greece. I just like being somewhere with my family, traveling, seeing someplace new, and being away from everything else for just a little bit. So that's probably number one is finding a way.
You have some sort of social media that chronicles this, yes or no?
Yeah. The Wandering Firefighter is my YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, kind of where I share pictures, videos. I love making YouTube videos, so.
I just got into the YouTube game. I don't know what I'm doing either, but I'm trying to get to go. It's just basically record yourself and hit submit.
It's there's some nuances to it where you just have to kind of learn as you go, like everything. And some things work and some things don't, and you fix the things that don't, and you build on the things that do. But it's a fun journey either way.
Real quick, coolest place you've ever been?
I've kind of partial to Australia because I studied abroad there. I got engaged there to my wife.
No way.
Family, back in college, and then we took our family there right before COVID. We were able to take them to the island that I proposed on, and take them to some of our old hiking spots and take them to our campus and stuff like that. So I have a place in my heart for Australia, but probably the coolest couple places, Malta and Iceland. I really enjoyed those places. Those are really cool places. I'm planning on riding my bike around Iceland probably in the next 5 years or so.
I've heard good things about that place. I don't know.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know how you got everybody in the. When you guys traveled around America? How long have you been working for Delta?
About 8 years, seven or 8 years.
So, do you ever have you ever road tripped with the family, like across the country, like in a car?
Yep. We just did that for spring break because we had a foreign exchange student from Czech Republic with us.
Nice.
And, so we can't really fly 5 of us on standby and then have her kind of. So we did a road trip. We showed her 10 states. So we went east, down south, back west, and then back up north, back to Iowa. So it was great. I love road trips. I just love traveling.
What's your favorite place in America?
You believe it or not, and it's kind of fresh. I was blown away with Idaho.
Really?
Yeah. We landed there, and I didn't know what to expect. I thought Iowa with potatoes, and we get there, and you fly into the airport in Boise, and it looks like Salt Lake City with the mountain in the background, and
yeah,
you go to all these places. We went whitewater rafting, went cliff jumping, went sand sledding, and you're going to these places where if they were somewhere else, there'd be all these people around. And Idaho, it was basically your own private place. It's just they have all the cool stuff with less people.
I'll have to put it on the old bucket list. So far, we've done the cliche Pigeon Forge, Branson, spring break in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Where else did we go? We just got back from Destin over this dead week. We actually all flew there, though, for the first time. We were able to somehow afford the entire family to go.
Yeah.
Which is no small feat.
No.
Where else? Yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to get my family to take me to Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I can't get any buy-in on that trip.
It's a great trip.
I know. Listen, I'm telling you. And so I joke. I said, the only time, here's when I'm going to get to Mount Rushmore. This is my joke around the house. When I'm dead. And they're going to be like, well, what should we do with old Dad's ashes? And Carson will be like, he's always wanted to go to Mount Rushmore. Let's take him there. And then they're just going to go, whew, and bam, there goes old Dad.
So meaningful. So
finally got to see.
Finally.
Finally, I couldn't even talk. We were bored one spring break, man, and I was like, let's just get in my truck and go to Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
And let's just take a picture and we'll come home. We don't even need to just pack a toothbrush, a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even like being in the car that much. I just feel like I need to see this thing.
Make it happen. You just
make it happen. I guess we're just gonna have to make it happen.
Yep.
Tell me about the triathlon stuff. You sent me something yesterday.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, I heard a couple of your podcasts again where you're talking about just being very busy, so many different commitments, and some of your other guests, a couple of the flight nurses that have run marathons and stuff like that, and it's like all of that sounded very familiar, and it was it was almost identical to the YouTube video I made about training for Ironman Des Moines. It's the 70.3, and the title of it was I think it was an average middle-aged guy's slightly overweight journey to Ironman or something like that. And I did the Ironman in Boulder, Colorado. I think it was 2013. I think it was. But this one for Ironman Des Moines, I wasn't trained up for it. I just did it because it was in Des Moines. So I just kind of said we're going to do it, even though I'm fat right now and busy right now. But you just find ways to do it. You find time, and training went from a big, beautiful calendar with everything lined up to day one of the week. Well, that's out of the water because we didn't sleep. So that my training turned into, well, I have 45 minutes today. I guess I work on speed work. Well, I got 8 hours today. I guess I'll go on a long bike ride. It was just, it was all turned into my schedule dependent, and I just threw the rest of stuff out the window. It just do it when you can do it.
Yeah, I think what we lose sight of, and I wouldn't call us hyper competitive, but like I'm always looking for the next, what can I do that might be above somebody else's capacity. Absolutely. We can all think of great things to do, right? But putting them in action. So once I latch onto something, man, I go pro. I'm like, this is this right. I am not going to half-ass this thing. I am 100% all in, no matter what. And Malcolm had a really good way of saying, this podcast thing. Man, I was gonna blow this thing up, and me and Joe Rogan someday we're gonna be shooting the shit about how cool we were when we were doing YouTube videos and having free, right? But he had a good way of reminding me. He's like, hey, listen, man, it's a hobby, right? So everything we do outside of our profession, firefighter, flight paramedic, police officer, whatever, anything we do outside our profession is a hobby.
Absolutely.
And it's real easy for me to beat myself up. Deer hunting is the big deal too. Like, I am a professional hunter of 130-inch, 3.5-inch bucks. But
Mm-hmm.
everybody on YouTube is a professional hunter of 5.5-year-old 160-inch bucks, right? And so I have a terrible habit of beating myself up when I have my vision is here,
Mm-hmm.
but somehow I kind of always just kind of land right there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But he had a good way of saying this, because it's a hobby, man. Like, this should be, take your triathlon.
Yeah.
It's impossible to train like a professional triathlete,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we have to take what we can get. And I have really tried to let some of that go in the last couple of years and say, listen, I am not a professional pick your poison hunter, podcaster, golfer, which I don't golf, but I'm just throwing that in there.
Yeah.
Like, triathlete. Everything is, I'm doing this should be for fun. And the time I spend doing it should not exceed the level by which I want to get better at it. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Yeah. It's tough to find that balance because of, I think how vast majority of first responders are just wired that way, and it's tough to concede that you might not be fully capable of something.
Oh.
And when the truth is, you are probably way ahead of the vast majority of people.
Sure. Yeah.
But not the best.
Yeah.
So
if I can't meet my own standard, man, I'm just like, what am I even doing here? But you're right. I think we all, the hyper vigilant people that are always kind of spun up a little bit, like, I think that's probably in our nature.
Yeah. And it's just who we are. And for better or worse, learn to harness it and turn it into something positive. So. Sometimes
we learn that, it takes a long time for us to get figured out. Yep, I always envy those people, like the flight nurses that I talk to, like their mom duties, their wife duties, their community duties. And then, hey, I'm going to go out on a 12-mile run after a night shift because this is the only time I've got to do it. And I'm like, man, it's savage. It really is. And I think about all the times that we would do that, but I wasn't even working towards anything. I just enjoyed my body hurting in a way where I was going to make it, will it do what I wanted it to do when I knew it didn't want to do it. Right.
Absolutely.
But it was never to the level of, let's say, a Navy SEAL. Right. Like I was like, you sit there and you do these things and you're like, oh, but these guys, now these guys, right. And so I don't know, that comparison game or that standard you have in your head, the idea of who you are versus who you want to be. That's my new slogan this year in 2026, because I really struggle with who I want to be, and I really struggle with who I am, trying to get those two together.
Yeah. Yeah. My brother, I love my brother. He's just about a year younger than me, but he thinks every time he sees it that he could go do American Ninja Warrior. He thinks that he can jump up and do that spider wall. He thinks he can do it. Like, man, you pulled your hamstring tying your shoe. You're gonna do the spider climb. Like, come on, And but I'm just like that. Where oh yeah, I could do that, and then you get there and you're like, I can't do that.
Yeah, no, it didn't go the way I had planned. Let's talk about the Folds of Honor.
Yeah, you bet.
I want to talk about, so this is a nationwide initiative, right? It's a nonprofit organization, is that correct?
Yep, that's right.
Nationwide. And each state has its own chapter?
Not yet.
Okay, go.
We were the 36th chapter, I believe. So it started off with not really many chapters. It was just a nationwide thing. It was founded by Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney. He was a pretty accomplished individual in his own right. He's an F-16 pilot and a PGA professional. So
really,
yeah. So he's a pretty accomplished, and he was coming back from a tour and flight on a commercial flight coming home. And the pilot said that they had the remains of a fallen service member below the plane, and his twin brother, the fallen hero's twin brother, was accompanying him home. And the pilot, when they landed, said, "Would you guys on the flight please remain seated so we can give honor to this fallen hero as they unload him to his family outside. And Lieutenant Colonel Rooney watched that and remained seated. And then when he got up to leave, he turned around and he saw that more than half the plane had already gotten off. And it really pissed him off. It really kind of hit home that these people were too wrapped up. And, I guess people might have connections to make and all that business. But some of them were too wrapped up in not waiting an extra 5 minutes to pay respect for this person who sacrificed his life so that they have the freedom to be on that plane safely. So after that, he watched the casket get loaded up, and he saw the man's young child, his young son, outside watching his father's casket come out. And it occurred to him that this young man will never play catch with his dad. This young man would never grow up with his father's presence on a daily basis. And that's when he was called to do something. That's when he founded Folds of Honor, because he believed very deeply that the U.S. still was filled with patriots, filled with people who wanted to honor our service members, our first responders, in a way that their families know that their loved ones' sacrifice wasn't in vain, and we don't forget it. And that because they were willing to do that for us, we're willing to do this for you. We want to honor their sacrifice by educating their legacy. And that's kind of how Folds of Honor was born on a national level.
Man, what a great story. Do you remember what year that was?
2007, I believe.
So this has been around a long time.
Let me check my phone.
Yeah.
I should know that, and I normally do, but I'm a little tired.
No, I get you. The only reason I ask is because, and maybe because, how long has Iowa had their chapter?
Just over a year.
Okay, so that's why. So yeah. I just answered my own question.
Yeah.
For as great as this organization sounds, I've never heard of it until this year, obviously, when Sheena just randomly said, hey, here's a thing that we're doing at Shields if you want to do it. And then obviously I started clicking.
Yeah.
And you get into the website. So let's get into how the Folds of Iowa started here in Iowa.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was correct. It was 2007 is when it was founded nationally.
Okay.
And then, so here in Iowa, the only exposure I had to Folds of Honor was Quick Trip had Folds of Honor bags. Sometimes you go to Quick Trip and you'll see it on their bags, or you'll see it on the pump. You'll see like a little flyer about Folds of Honor. That was my only exposure. I got exposed to it. This is another kind of a longer story, but one of my best friends from college at Northwest Missouri State, his name's Andrew Arbogast. He is one of the nicest, most gentle souls you'll ever meet. Just an amazing human being. After college, he went and he flew Apache helicopters. He was on a recon mission, and he was flying over this mountain and noticed that there was some anti-aircraft artillery on the ridge. So he radioed in and said, hey, we have this anti-aircraft artillery. We have a base right behind it. What are my orders? The orders were eliminate that threat. Take out the artillery, take out the base. So he unloaded on this place, just decimated it. And on his way to reload, it was radioed back to him that was a friendly base. That was the Afghans. And one of their messages, which just haunts me not even being the person, so I know how it haunts them, is that they radioed, they said they were safe because the Americans were there. And it was because he was the American that so again, one of the best human beings on the planet. So this really, really destroyed him inside. He didn't talk to his wife about it. She had no idea for several years. He kept it in. He was spiraled into a pretty dark place afterwards. And then he started coming back. He started opening up about it. He started talking to his wife about it. And then he got involved with Folds of Honor down in Memphis. He lives in Memphis. And that was one of his ways, in his mind, I think, to atone for his sins, even though I don't see it that way. War's hell, and he was following orders. but he also knew that he was the one who pulled the trigger, so in a way to kind of do some good in his eyes, he got really involved in Folds of Honor. And I went down and talked to him, visited with him. And I said, man, this is really cool that you're doing this thing with Folds of Honor. Tell me more about it. And he said, yeah, it's been great. I've been really able to help a lot of people, present scholarships to some kids who need it. And just on this past 9/11, this was a few years ago, they opened it up to first responders too. And I said, holy cow, really? I said, I was kind of interested in doing this anyway, but now that you say it, Folds of Honor is also for first responders, I was like, we got to bring it to Iowa. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And about these times, I had coworkers, Malcolm, maybe a little bit afterwards, but Brian Stokes, some of my coworkers who were fighting cancer battles and just in the line of duty, and whether it was deemed that or not at that time, they were all job related, and watching them sacrifice their health and well-being for a greater good for other people, and then seeing the result of that when their families are left behind, really is a gut punch. I'm okay if I go in a fire, something happens to me, I know where my soul's going to go. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with what I leave behind with my family by themselves. So I think it's one of those things where I want to make sure that those families of these people that I love and respect are taken care of, whether I know them or not. I love and respect what they do, whether service members or first responders. And I also, for a selfish reason, I want to make sure something's there for my family if something happens to me. So that's why the process was started to bring it to Iowa. And so kind of what I did is my friend Andrew, he was on the young professional board there. He put me in touch with nationals and said, hey, my buddy is interested. He'd be a good person to try to get this going if you guys are interested in Iowa. I had a couple meetings with them, and they kind of just said, we don't know you. We don't know what you're all about. We don't know what Iowa's all about with this yet. We're basically, they can't give the keys to the car to somebody they don't know or trust. So they said, if you can start getting some traction there, if you can start maybe raising some awareness, raising some funds, we'll see how it goes, and then we'll keep in touch. So I had a couple small events that I put on just on my own, a small golf tournament at the Pleasantville Country Club where, 15 people showed up, so just things like that. And then I started looking around, and people would tell me, hey, are you involved in this Folds of Honor event that's going on? And I'm like, no, I had no idea that it was going on. So I started looking around at different people doing things for Folds of Honor around the state. And the similarity is that we were all passionate. We all wanted to do this. We were all sending our funds to nationals, which is fine. I'm not opposed to people around the country getting aid. But I wanted my friends, my neighbors, my coworkers, my Iowans to benefit. And they were already, but we had a lot of Iowans go unfunded because Iowa was getting the funds left over from other states. So it was time to focus on bringing a chapter to Iowa. And I reached out to all these people who were already doing events. And they said, hey, I see that you're doing this event. What do you think about working together and forming a chapter? So I would reach out to all these different people. 100% of them said, we've been waiting for this. And 100% of them said, yes, let's form this first Iowa board of directors. So now instead of me going to nationals with myself, I had a small army of committed, passionate, talented, connected individuals. And we went there together and said, we have a board ready to roll. If you guys want to give your blessing, we're ready to roll right now. And they gave their blessings. They got us a charter, and they became an official chapter about 6 months after, because it takes some time with all the paperwork. And so that was, a couple years ago is when we started that process.
Oh man, there's a lot I got to ask you.
Yeah, sorry, I talked a lot.
No, there's a lot of awesomeness in this whole thing, right? And the number one thing is this: I've said it before. Ideas are stupid unless you put them out there. So this is the glory of this whole thing. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we do? Because everybody that said yes, I want to do this, had the same idea. It's just that one guy, said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to say it out loud," and then everybody goes, "Yeah, we've been waiting for that to happen," and then all of a sudden, boom! This is when that the explosion of progress happens, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
But it's interesting to me that you said so. I'm going to use this as an example. Let's say my brother-in-law in Davenport was hosting a Folds of Honor golf tournament.
Mm-hmm.
The same weekend you were hosting a Folds of Honor golf tournament, meaning that they were being somehow endorsed by the national Folds of Honor thing to have local events, and then whatever funds were raised went into the nation kitty, the national kitty, right?
Yep.
And so the Folds of Honor could come into Iowa and kind of endorse small local events, and then reap a percentage of those funds that get dispersed nationally.
Yeah, you bet.
But then once you all come together and say, "Hey, I want a chapter," then that changes the game.
It changes the game. We're still very reliant on national because they have these giant partnerships with major corporations, major brands, and that's how Iowans were receiving. That before in Iowa, we had a $75,000 shortfall of people who were qualified but didn't go funded. So our initial goal was to meet that $75,000 shortfall each year. So that way nationals would come in and give 45, 50 scholarships to Iowans, and we could find a way to fill the 35 who didn't get a scholarship, something like that. So whatever we raise here in Iowa stays in Iowa. And if there's an abundance, then it goes back into nationals and redistributed across the nation.
Sure. Probably for those states that are coming up a little short, just like we were at one time, right? Just
and
like
we still are. Yeah,
we still are
short. Yeah. So the issue, it's with growth, the goalposts keep moving.
Yeah, 100%, and that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because more people apply because more people know now. So
is it like a fiscal year timeline where we give out scholarships every year on June 1st?
Yeah, basically.
And the following year is meant to raise money again?
Yeah. So February is when the window opens to apply.
Okay.
So then by midsummer is when the scholarships are dispersed.
Okay.
And we kind of have a midpoint where we try to send half of our funds for the year in the summer because they have an immediate need to disperse this money. And then we'll send the other half of our goal, our commitment, at the end of the year. So that's kind of how that works. So our goal this year with nationals is $50,000, and we're going to exceed that because in our first full year as a chapter. So that's pretty encouraging, and I think the trajectory we're on, we're going to really do some good. I hope to become a juggernaut of support for these families over the next few years.
Yeah. How many, this is year 2. How many scholarships in year 1 did you give out? And then how many scholarships this year did you give out?
I haven't gotten the exact numbers for this year yet. They're still working on getting the exact numbers for like per college, per state, stuff like that.
Yeah, sure.
But roughly 45 is what we've been on. It's 45 a year. And then when I say 35 are unfunded, that means those 35 didn't get full scholarships, but they got something. Oh. So maybe it is $1,000 scholarship. Maybe it's $500 for your books. So everybody
got money,
got some sort of funding this year.
Sure.
Which is awesome. The goal is that they all get their $5,000 scholarships, but that takes a lot of work and a lot of support.
And that's $5,000 a year.
Yep. And once you're in the system, it's a little bit different, streamlined process to apply again. For some families, if they go to private school or something, this could represent first grade through master's degree, $5,000 a year. So it's it's kind of a giant commitment to take these students, say, we're going to take ownership of this part of their education from here on out, and it's tough to do. You just do your best. That's all you can do is your best. And,
sure.
Yeah, for the most part, it's $5,000 a year, for your bachelor's degree is kind of the most common.
How big a team does it take to do this?
I don't know yet. we're not quite there yet. So our executive board, we have an executive board of 7, and the people who make up this executive board are just incredible people. One of our vice presidents, are you familiar with Dahl Distributing? They do.
Not really.
Okay, so they're like a Budweiser wholesale distributor. So they're the ones that you'll see a big Folds of Honor semi truck with Budweiser and Folds of Honor. That's Dahl Distributing. So Gus Dahl is part owner of Dahl Distributing. He what was kind of before he was able to have the keys to the company, so to speak. They said go do something, go make yourself capable. And he went out and he graduated from West Point. He was a captain in the Army Rangers. Went and got his master's degree. Came back and they said, okay, you're good. you did some stuff of substance. And he told me, he said, my job as a captain was to take care of my soldiers. That doesn't stop just because I'm not active anymore. So that's who my team is right now, or people like that. And then you probably know, the Minio and Smith from Urbandale, the officers who were slain.
Yes.
Our treasurer was an Urbandale cop, good buddies with him. And after that happened, you met him, Vinny.
Yep.
You met Vinny Smith at the Ruck. So afterwards, he still wants to be involved in the community and to help these families and stuff. So as a financial advisor, he's now our treasurer. So some really talented people. And then we discovered very, very quickly we needed to be more than 7 people to really have an impact. So, I mean, for example, our treasurer, Shauna, her husband's a Des Moines firefighter. They had a scholarship presentation at the Tri-State Rodeo down in the southern part of the state. Okay. And they asked us if we could be there for scholarship presentation. It's like a 4.5-4-hour drive or something like that. And sure. Shauna drove down there, presented a scholarship, and drove back. And we quickly discovered that I only have so many hours in a day. They only have so many hours in a day. We started getting a lot more asks for making appearances and to get support from people, and we just couldn't do it by ourselves. So we established the Patriot Board, which I've asked you to be a part of.
Yeah.
And that is kind of like when people say, how do I get involved? It's like, give us money. That's, if you're passionate about something like this, you want to do more than just cut a check. You want to be involved. And this was a way for us to lighten the load many hands make light work, Sure. So you have more people involved, and then you can come to these meetings and you can talk and you can say, oh, I know this person. By the way, I work with this guy and he wants to get involved with this. And I never even would have known that person existed without.
Yeah. It's all networking.
Yeah. So that's where we're at right now is the Patriot Board. We're growing that out. Again, it's just a giant group. I think we're about 25 people now on the Patriot Board. And they all are dedicated, passionate. We ask for time, talent, and treasure. Those are the 3 ways you can contribute. If all you have is time, all you can do is go to events and set up the tent, and awesome, we'll take it. If you're blessed financially and you want to help sponsor and fund some events, we'll take it. If you have a talent of some sort, Hawkeye Medical Services.
Oh, sure. Joe Sherrata?
Yeah, Joe is a retired firefighter. I was on a crew with him. He does all of our medical stuff for free. Yep. So it's like the time, talent, treasure. That's what makes it all work, So the next step, eventually I'd like to establish little mini chapters around the state. So Cedar Rapids has a lot of interest. Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, that kind of part of the state where I can't just drive there a couple times a week to do stuff. But if we have people there, maybe they can do stuff over there for us.
Sure.
If we're in Council Bluffs, Doll Distributing has a Council Bluffs office, so that Doll family is already there. Where we could probably get some events in Council Bluffs, some representatives there too. So,
well, I'll reach out to the Davenport folks.
That would be great.
That'd be I don't know if you got anything cooking in Davenport or not, but
we will eventually. We will eventually.
I can plant a seed over there for sure.
Yeah. They have the John Deere Classic over in that area.
Yep. My father-in-law used to work that event every year.
Okay.
Big avid golfer, so he would go and he actually years ago he was in the Iowa Senate and the Iowa House, served 2 terms on both, or a term in the Senate and maybe a term in the House. I don't think he's as well connected now as he's gotten older and people have gone up. But anyway, long story short,
yeah.
There's always somebody, man, that knows somebody who knows somebody.
100%. Yeah. And they just had, for the second year, Folds of Honor Friday at the John Deere Classic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So they do, everyone wears red, white, and blue. It's a time to do, believe it or not, PGA was the only professional sport that didn't have the national anthem before its events. And Folds of Honor, Lieutenant Colonel Rooney and Folds of Honor made it a point to bring the national anthem to PGA. So that's what Folds of Honor Friday is now they have the national anthem. They have awareness for Folds of Honor. They have check presentations. And we really hope to get into the Principal Charity Classic here real soon. We're this close this year. So we would love to have a Folds of Honor Friday there where we have the national anthem. I think everything should be started, so.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a fun ride.
Well, listen, I can't, obviously I got hooked on this thing with Sheena and Malcolm.
It was amazing, by the way. It was amazing, and so appreciative of that. I felt bad for Sheena because I saw your funds go up and up and up, and Sheena said she was going to match it. I was like, oh no, Sheena, that's.
Oh no, that was 100%. Like I was going to dig in deep. Like I was like, I know exactly what I'm doing here, and we're gonna get this thing good. Yeah, and honestly, I'll be honest. She sent the link to like a group text, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, so there's 2 things. You get these events and you're like, oh, that'd be fun to do. But I've always said that, if you ever ask me to do something or just as a random, there's a 71% chance I will not be at my job. I'll have the day off. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to do something cool, there's a 100% chance I'll be at work.
That's a great way to put that. Yeah.
Right. And so anytime I get a link that says, oh, or at a softball tournament or whatever, and so she sent this link to our group text. It was a Shields Ruck thing. And I clicked on it and it said the date. And then I looked at my calendar and I was like, holy crap, I got a free day. I was like, I'll go. And then you start digging into it. Right. And you're like, well, this is the event and this is what you do it for. And it's basically walking with weight. And I'm like, I'm in, I can do that. But then you dig a little deeper, and then it said, hey, if you want to try to raise some money for us, just click this link. And then we generate a thing that says, do this. And I was like, here's what I'll do. I'll put it out to my work team. And if I can get 50, 60, 70 bucks, maybe $100 for this thing, like everybody pitches in $10, whatever, like that'd be great for Malcolm and the kids or whatever. And then the minute I put it out, the minute I created my fundraiser link and the minute I put it out, I had $300 in 8 minutes.
Wow.
And that's what I said. And I was like, this could get big.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. And so just kept hammering away with no really other than, and then my wife, obviously, God bless her. She's super well connected, 12 million Facebook friends and, probably 200 of them she knows. Bam, put that on there, right? And then where people kept passing it on. And then what I was really surprised with was at the end. So I kept having to up my goal. So I would put the goal, the fundraiser goal, like $100 or whatever, because I didn't want people to think, well, he's already exceeded his goal, so I'm not, and I would never ask anybody to not give anything they didn't have. Like I'm broke too, right? So, and when you got high school kids, everybody is selling cheese and cookie dough and do this for us and do this for dance and do this for football and 100% get it.
Yeah.
Got it. But the people so I kept raising the goal, and then I would have like people go back in and donate more, the same people.
Yeah.
And I was great. Like, right. Yeah, it was great. It was great. And then, and that was one thing. And then you get to the event and you're like, man, this is cool. My wife works at Shields part-time.
Oh, cool.
It's a little fun fact, kind of like your business with Delta. Like she, we get a discount and she's a hustler anyway. So she works for Shields, and I was like, I'll go. But the event itself, once you get there, it's like, holy crap, this is really cool. Like the atmosphere was cool. The event was cool. Everybody was very kind and nice. And you meet, the 511 reps, and you get to do this. And then you take off and you're walking and you see the signs and you're like, Jesus, man, like if only everybody knew. Yeah. Right.
Yes, I do know.
Yeah. And then you put your head down and go. And then everybody was like, it's kind of like anything else. Everybody's cheering each other on. Like, some people were going at a much faster clip. There was, I don't know, you saw these guys, those two savages that ran that whole thing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Gus, our vice president, is one of them. It's crazy.
Yeah. So every time they lapped me, which was, 4 times, obviously, or 3 times, because it was 4 laps, I had fist bumping, like, you guys are killing it or doing whatever. And funny story, like, you keep the same distance really from the same amount of people all the time. Like,
yeah.
And I found it I felt like I was trucking, and like there was a couple young men in front of me, and they seemed to be very casually walking. And I would never close the distance, and I felt like I was hoofing it. But anyway, on the first lap, I wasn't paying attention. And I walked right through the turnaround towards the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Because I just had my head down and I was going, and all of a sudden I looked around, and I was the only person there, and I was like, and there was even a lady there and a sign that said turn around. And then I just had my head down and I was trucking, man. I was listening to this to a book, and so I lost position is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I had to cook to get it back.
But you got it back.
But I got it back. It was fun. It was there's 2 young men in front of me that I didn't know this at the time. One of them was Malcolm's cousin.
Oh wow.
Yeah, right. And so that whole time I was, 30 yards away from Malcolm's coming, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
Until the end of the race, when we all got together, and I was like, "You're the dude."
Yeah.
That I was trying to catch.
With this Folds of Honor thing, the founder, Senator Rooney, talks a lot about synchronicity, and it's chance with a purpose. All these coincidences that keep lining up that aren't really coincidences.
Yep.
And that sounds like one of them, where you were right with Malcolm's cousin, and there's so many examples. I could talk another 45 minutes on just examples of how it has happened in Iowa, but just the way things are lining up like that, the way that you're on board now, it wasn't an accident. There's a bigger plan at play here, and it's pretty cool that you're part of it now. So I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate it, and I've told this story too. It's the way I'm a part of it, because it always seems to be very empty sometimes when you're like, hey, listen, you put up a great event. I had a very, 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 very small part in this, and I'm happy to do it. If there's anything, so the invitation was this: hey man, if there's anything I can do for you in the future, just let me know. And I know that we all say it probably with good intention. Absolutely. Right? Yeah. But it's empty. So now I put the problem on you. Well, you didn't reach out, Jeramie, so you must have not, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I sounded very virtuous. I was like, man, I'm here to help. But how often in our daily lives do we say it to people? And I feel like and then you turned right around and said, well, hey, listen, man, since you're offering, this is what you can do. And I was like, you're absolutely right. Like, problem solved. Because I think, and this has been my problem, I think as men, obviously we're called to serve in some capacity. It doesn't matter what. But my personality, if I can't do it 100%, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Lions Club, right? Church groups. I have shied away from so many things because I can't be there every Wednesday night, man. Like, sorry, if you guys have meetings every Wednesday night, I'm not that guy. So therefore, I'm just not going to participate.
I get it.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Well, your deal. It's probably not any different, but for whatever reason, it finally hit me that said, well, if you're going to serve, man, serve on this. Like, this seems like a bunch of good people doing a bunch of good stuff. Probably not going to hold you to account that you can't be there every Wednesday or whatever when you have meetings, but you're already kind of dug your heels in a little bit for this thing, right? So now, I mean, next year, obviously, I got to exceed. That's my plan anyway, right? Like, I'm gonna, yeah. And then, so just do it. And so I appreciate you for your challenge.
You bet. I know exactly what you mean. And that's why when I recognize somebody who could really help be a force multiplier for this cause, I'm not shy. you really want to help? Let's go to work together,
Yeah.
and if they're unable, if you, like I said, like if you can't make it to something, that's the beauty of a team, is that we're made up of a whole bunch of very talented people in different areas, where we had about 5 or 6 people who worked on this ruck together.
Yep.
But we have a totally different group of people who work on our Patriot Prom and Casino Night, and who work on our golf outing. So it's whatever your talents and your passion is. It sounds like you're fired up for the fittest first responder in Iowa.
I was just gonna say that, man. I am jacked about that. Like, yeah. I have always, and again, ideas are stupid, right? Unless you put them out there.
Yep.
But I had the idea 15 years ago. So in West Des Moines, we used to have the Cluster Bowl. We called it. It was a flag football, basically tournament against fire, EMS, PD, and Public Works. Mm-hmm. And every Sunday, one Sunday a year, we would get together and we would play flag football in like a round robin tournament or whatever it was. And it was a lot of fun, unless you blew your Achilles out, and then it was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Which I didn't do, but it has happened. And so a lot of us got into the CrossFit space after that, right? And so we started converting all of our gyms to CrossFit gyms.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why don't we have the cluster games? Why don't we get fire, EMS, PD? PD really, they spent a lot of money at the time. This is a long time ago, and invested in their gym. So let's have the cluster bowl, but let's have the cluster games too. Like, let's pull our rigs out in the apron of the fire station, and let's do some cool shit.
Love it.
And you know what? Everybody wanted to do it, but you know what? Nobody wanted to do.
Take the lead.
Nobody. That's hey, Jason. I'm 100% behind you. Let me know when it is.
Yeah, exactly right.
So the fact that somebody on our board or your board or whatever is like, I want to do this, and I'm like, this is. I've been waiting.
So it's Dylan.
Not only to be a participant, but I will be. I have that day scheduled off in my phone. I will be there in one capacity or another.
I love it. There's gonna be so much more info coming, and that's Dylan Burns. He's a Des Moines firefighter.
Yep.
And that's actually who I talked to the first time when I started thinking about the ruck. We were working the Ironman a couple years ago on overtime for EMS, and I was sitting in the ambulance with them. I go, you know what? I'm just watching these people. I was like, what's something you can bring to Iowa that would be unique, different, and not, it's not very large scale yet. There's not a lot to choose from. I said, you know what? I'm gonna bring a ruck to Iowa. I want to do that for Folds of Honor. And he goes, hey, you need to reach out the 515 Ruck Club. And I was like, okay, this is another example of synchronicity, these coincidences. He said, you need to reach out the 515 Ruck Club. They have a community already. I bet they'd get on board. The person used to be a firefighter. He was a firefighter overseas. He'd be on board with this. And he's like, his name's Corey. I said, okay, cool. More info on this Corey. It's Corey Clemens. I was like, Corey Clemens is my kindergarten locker mate. So Corey, it's Eggy. You want to do this ruck thing? Yep, I'm in. And just it's always the people that I need to be in these spots are in those spots already. And it's just it's amazing. And that's how the ruck started. I was sitting there talking with Dylan, and then Dylan reached out and said, hey, I want to do this fittest first responder thing for Folds of Honor. I said, sounds good, dude. And that's his world. I'm not super big in the CrossFit world. I love it, love everything about it. I'm just not super involved. And that's kind of his world, and it sounds like it's part of your world too. So I think we can make some pretty cool things happen with this Fit as First Responder. Make it kind of an annual thing.
Man, I hope so. It's just the title itself sounds great to me. Like the minute I saw, somehow I don't know if I found it on the website or whatever, and I was like, well, how come I've never heard of this before? But I've been out of the gym space for a long time. I've built my own garage gym over time, and so I have my own space, and I'm not on social media, so I would not know. But I used to compete in local stuff like Festivus games, the Mat games, and stuff like that. So I'm not a stranger, but you just don't hear of things anymore if you're off. If you're kind of out just doing kipping pull-ups in your own garage, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But once I saw this, I was like, "No, wait, what? I'm in like 100%." Got the first thing I did was check my calendar. The last day of deer season, blocked it off. We're gonna go. We're gonna do whatever we can do with this thing, and I think it'll be a great event. So I hope it's going well. I haven't got an update on the progress or anything like that, but just if you talk to him, just let him know I got the people with the facility on my end are still on standby. They're like,
I'll reach out to him today. Yeah. But I haven't gotten many updates yet either, but I know he's working hard. So it'll be.
I have no doubt.
Really cool. Really cool.
I'm really excited about that. A couple more things before we go. We're an hour into this thing, and I feel like we could just talk for a long time, but I know
great. This has been fun.
Everybody's got it, which just means we'll have to do another show.
Okay.
Is the Ruck only an Iowa thing, or do other states do the Ruck?
Right now, for the most part, Folds of Honor, Iowa is the only one that has a Ruck. There's a couple. I think in Kansas City, there's might be a Folds of Honor Patriots run, and it's like a marathon, half marathon, 5K, and it's very, very popular. But they've also been around for several years. So I can never compare us to those more established chapters yet, because at one time they were on year one also.
Sure, but the reason I ask is kudos to whoever came with your idea.
Yeah.
Because it's a wonderful thing. Like it's like there's not a lot of rucks. Like people really don't know about rucking. I know that there's a ruck club, and you can see it on the internet a little bit, like it's a thing. But like everybody's got a 5K, man. Like everybody's got the turkey trot or the Halloween 5K or the and for good reason, Eurosepsis 5K or what, you can make your thing. Everybody's got the thing. They all meet at Raccoon River Park and run around. But a ruck is it's low impact, fairly low impact. Anybody can do it. The weights are variable depending on body weight, so it's a physical task that people can reasonably do.
Yeah.
You don't have to know how to do double unders and bar muscle ups, and you don't have to lift a bunch of weight, and you don't have to try to beat, your time from last year by running 7-minute miles. Mm-hmm. You don't have to gruel out a half marathon. It's just a cool physical task.
Yeah. I kind of envisioned I've worked several, overtime events, and the Walk for Alzheimer's is a really cool thing where a lot of people can do it. And it's a camaraderie thing more than it is a competition. Like if you want to compete with yourself and get your best time in the ruck, that's awesome. But at its heart, it's a camaraderie thing, and it's like the Walk for Alzheimer's, but a little elevated as far as challenge goes, which will kind of put into perspective what those people who put on their rucks overseas for us, go through. We'll go into, those who strap on their air packs every day and go into fires, what they go through. People who put on their bulletproof vests for us every day. It's kind of a way to really have that hit home and to remember the people who gave their all.
Yeah, it was great. I always put it. The vest that I wore, I borrowed it. Malcolm had a ruck. He was into rucking at the end of his battle because it was about the last thing physically he could do. We went from working out in my garage to he was going to Shields to buy a lighter kettlebell because he just wasn't physically where he was capacity wise. To I'm just going to put some weight on my shoulders and go for a walk, man. And he was big into that, and that was very close to when we started seeing him change.
Yeah.
And so just you can even use the analogy that we all carry some sort of weight. It's invisible.
Yeah.
Right? It's invisible. Mine some days is heavier than others, but it's there. And then you add physical pounds to your back and your shoulders, and you add that physical discomfort, and you look at your watch and you're like, oh my God, I'm only halfway through, and I got to somehow get right. Like I got to get all this moved.
Yeah.
But then you see people running past you, and you're like,
what? Yeah.
What? My problems ain't so big right now, right? Because these guys are taking the same things that I have and are just literally running with it.
That's a great way to look at that. Yeah.
The amount of, and I'm not a big fan of, I call it sitting in my own bathwater. I hate that. Like if you give me a minute to just reflect on myself, it's very uncomfortable to me. I don't like it because I have to deal with some things that I'm not interested in dealing with. And that whole 12 miles, man, was just sitting there thinking of it. And it was useful. It was everything I wanted it ever to be. Nice job. I'll take the day off from here on out in the future for that thing. That's going to be my thing every year. Well, second thing, if this fit responder thing happens,
you can have more than one thing.
Yeah, I can do more than one thing. But it was great. So kudos to you guys and for you guys putting it out. And most importantly, thank you for doing it.
Oh.
And I think you're going to get big. It's going to get big.
I think so. And it's because of people like you getting involved, so it's a team thing. It's, nothing was happening when I was sitting in my basement by myself typing out emails. It was when we had a team of people. That's when magic started happening. And the better the team, the better the magic, so it's going to be fun.
Listen, you're a great person to head this up. I've really just the short time that I've known you, really feel connected.
Agree. And maybe because I listened to you for 62 hours.
I don't know about that, but you know how you get to be with somebody and you're like, man, this guy's energy, guy's energy is good. Like it's good for good people. It's well intentioned. It's not self-serving. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, then I just appreciated it was this big, Jeramie. It was hey, what can I do to help? Hey, I'm glad you said something. This is what I need. This is what it is. And I was like, okay, man, here we are.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you responded.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's wrap this up. Not because I want to, but because I think we need to. I'm going to stop it, but just stay on the horn real quick and we'll get to saying our goodbyes and then we'll figure out what's next.
You bet, brother.
But thank you very much for taking an hour out of your day, especially after 24.
Thanks for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks.